live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Sacliunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
So just another day in Philadelphia sports yesterday, huh, John Kincade? Good morning.
It was like a Friday on the soaps.
Like, what the hell happened?
What's the cliffhanger?
Yesterday? What the hell happened yesterday? In a time where we've been talking about the thaw, the great thaw of the Philadelphia area.
And it was feeling like we had it, right?
All of a sudden, a bunch of news pops out yesterday that it fired up the people. It got the city of Philadelphia warm and heated, but not necessarily for all the right reasons. So there is a lot to unpack today. We will do that with you because today is a day where we want a lot of your reaction on the phone line, the text line, YouTube as always. Good morning. Phone line, text line 610-632-0975. The two big news from yesterday. Jeff Stoutland out from the Philadelphia Eagles as a coach. There's talks that he could still be a part of the organization, but let's face it, guys, he's not on the coaching staff anymore. That's done. And Jared McCain, before that, traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder of all teams for a first-round pick and 3 second-round picks. We'll start with Jeff Stoutland. Stout out, as he put out on his social media himself.
Stout out.
Something that we talked about a lot recently with the ongoing search for the new offensive coordinator. Obviously, the Eagles end up landing on Mannion, the new OC for the Philadelphia Eagles. But before that, there was a lot of talk of, why aren't some candidates coming here?
And last week, I went back and looked even at some of our own social media where we're talking about the idea that Jeff Stoutland may have been a hurdle for some of the top candidates for wanting to come to the Eagles. And we had numerous people on the responses to the video saying, yeah, like people don't want to come and work with Jeff Stoutland. Well, people didn't want to come and work with Jeff Stoutland. It's no knock on Jeff Stoutland.
No.
It's no knock on his reputation.
Right.
It's a fit thing. And people didn't want to come and work with Jeff Stoutland. And I think that Jeff saw that he was part of a potential hurdle for the organization too. That there were some top candidates who weren't going to be able to mesh with what he wanted to do.
And as we talked about, every time we brought this up, deservedly so, that he had that respect in the Eagles organization.
No question.
Deservedly so that they did listen to him on a lot of things. Deservedly so that they did promote him to the run game coordinator because of what he does with the offensive line. All that stuff, I don't think they made mistakes with any of it. But sometimes when you hire new people, there are people that don't mesh with the same ideas as members of a coaching staff. And clearly, it seems like that was part of the case for a lot of people that they interviewed, and maybe now with Sean Mann.
And I talked about it with Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel was not going to fit with Jeff Stoutland's philosophies. Just wasn't going to work. He's never going to. It wasn't. They don't run the ball the same way. They don't have the same interest. So it's like, look, you love Stout, but you got to at some point make a decision. And I think he made it for them.
Sure.
But I think there's a lot more to it.
So, all right. And that's the big thing, right? Because this isn't necessarily this is a bad thing. It's also not necessarily a good thing. This is a time will tell. Was this the right thing? You mentioned you inherit, right? The Phillies. Let's bring that up for a second, all right? The Phillies scouting department, for the longest time before Dave Dombrowski got here, was the same scouting department for like 30, 40 years.
It was.
It's a very family-run organization. They respected a lot of the people that were there for a very long time, even though they could not develop really anybody, which it was amazing. It's why we always talked about the Phillies farm system being so bad. Dave Dombrowski, though, had the power to say, yeah, no, I'm going to bring in my people. Whereas for years, every new general manager, Matt Klentak's, the guys that had no really say in a lot of some of those matters, did not make changes. This is one of those times where they realized, okay, we think we need to make a change for who we brought in here. So the statement made by Jeff Stoutland on social media yesterday, Philadelphia, I've decided my time coaching with the Eagles has come to an end. When I arrived here in 2013, I did not know what I was signing up for. I quickly learned what this city demands, but more importantly, what it gives back. The past 13 years have been the great privilege of my coaching career. I didn't just work here. I became one of you. Stout out.
And that's a beautiful thing, and we all respect Jeff Stoutland, and we all wish him well. Everybody wishing him great well. But I will tell you this, Andrew, from researching the story last night, from reading the great work of Tim McManus and some of our other beat writers who were on this case last night, and just a few poking around, I believe this is also about feelings.
Sure.
And I think that Jeff Stoutland was, in a way, run off by the way this team was run this year and by the way that Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo
allowed personal relationships to get in the way of things.
Yep. Drove this car right into a ditch.
I'm going to read you some of that Tim McManus article because I know how this is going to go. There's going to be people out there that are going to say,
it's not real.
It's not real. Or you guys are creating something.
Look, that'll be it. Yeah.
A guy that is disrespected in football. Forget the Eagles for a second. Look at social media yesterday when it came out that he was no longer a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. There's probably some people, Jason Kelsey will mention it soon,
yes,
that know Jeff Stoutland much more personally and may know a lot more as to why the decision was made. But there was a lot of people outside of Eagles lore saying, wow, this is big news in Philadelphia. If this guy, this staple of an organization, this staple of football lore is walking away from a situation, what does that mean? Well, here's the blurb from Tim McManus' article that will lead to all this. Things were less harmonious this past season. Injuries to right tackle Lane Johnson and others along the front played a part in the ground game's regression, but there were other dynamics at play. With the offense stagnant, head coach Nick Sirianni took on a more active role over the later part of the season. He and then offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo began incorporating different run designs in an effort to kickstart the operation. Stoutland was not consulted about the changes to what he felt was an appropriate degree, a league source said, to the point where he no longer desired the title of run game coordinator because he felt it no longer fit his job description.
There is a chance.
That experience gave him pause about continuing on with the organization, the source added.
Could be a chance, and when we talked about it, because last night we were sort of comparing notes on this, it could be that Tim McManus and I have similar sources.
Yeah.
On this story. Look, I feel two ways about it. I'm okay with Jeff Stoutland moving on. Like, you can't be in a job for forever and ever, and if Sean Mannion may be able to have his offensive line coach in there that does things his way.
And by the way, as everybody points out, the football people, the people much smarter than John and I are, we are fake football. Well, John's a fake football guy. I'm a real football guy.
Yeah.
Jeff Stoutland's concepts don't necessarily fit with what Sean Mannion wants to do.
They don't. They don't mesh at all with the McVay-Shanahan type system.
Right.
So they don't. So I believe this is in some ways Stoutland exiting the situation gracefully, saying, I don't want to put a new offensive coordinator in a bad spot. But I also believe that this is I'm done with Nick Sirianni. I'm done with this. I'm done with the circus. I'm done with dealing with this. And I don't believe that I don't believe he feels he was probably treated the best this past year.
Jeff Stoutland's agent, Alan Herman, spoke with ESPN last week and had indicated that Stoutland was frustrated with how this season transpired, with his voice not being heard within the organization, and said there was a chance he could move on. However, Herman had emphasized Stoutland was not planning to retire from football. So Jeff Stoutland decides to leave the Eagles organization.
Yep.
Or at least the Eagles coaching staff. And with all that being said, with what you just sort of referenced, that maybe there was some upset people, it starts with Nick Sirianni once more going to bat with Kevin Patullo. That's where it starts. The ultimate decision may be because Sean Mannion and Jeff Stoutland, their concepts don't mesh. But this all begins during the season where, once again, Nick Sirianni, I don't know if Patullo had pictures on the guy. I don't know if they were just that best of friends that he's going to do whatever he can for his guy. But a hire that nobody really was excited about, a hire that we quickly realized this might not work out.
Over skis.
A hire that people eventually realized was a disaster because there were a lot of people that didn't want to put blame on Kevin Patullo. And then the firing of Kevin Patullo, all of that Nick Sirianni went to bat for his buddy led to this.
It did. And again, I'm not I'm not like saying the building's burning down because Stoutland's leaving. But what I'm saying this is the building is on fire because I'm now convinced enough Nick Sirianni is over his head. He's been bailed out by fantastic coordinators. He's been bailed out by a spectacular offensive line and performance last year from Saquon Barkley and a Vic Fangio defense that was one of the most epic Super Bowl performances ever. Nick Sirianni, I don't know what he does to lead. One thing I do know is that this organization is a bit of a mess right now. It's a bit of a mess. And if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I'm looking at this and saying, wow, how many times am I going to have to do this and this and this to repair things because I have this guy in charge? I said it before, I'll say it again. I absolutely believe that Nick Sirianni is on the thinnest of ice, and that this is it. And so to me, this just adds to it.
Yeah,
it just adds to the whole talking point. I'm more convinced than ever.
Last week, and I'm looking forward to it. Literally 1 week ago, Andrew Sacliunas will be in studio with us again today. It's another Thursday. I asked Andrew, "Hey, is it recency bias, or does this feel like one of the more dramatic off seasons when it comes to the Eagles?" In his time covering it, in my lifetime,
sure.
Connor's lifetime, your lifetime, Johnny, much more years in your lifetime. With all due respect, like
you're good at math. No, you don't have to say that.
The Eagles' dramatic offseason, it wasn't just, hey, they fired a coach, let's hire a new one. It's they fired a coach, and they immediately came out through the reporter world that they're looking for top candidates. They didn't land any of the top candidates. They'll do the spiel of, we got our guy.
And they didn't do that, by the way. They did not say that.
Eventually, Howie will say it.
I don't believe that.
They didn't get the top candidates that they were looking for. There became a lot of talk about this organization in a way, when you bring up Jeffrey Lurie, that he probably doesn't want to be out there, that this organization is dysfunctional, that there's too much going on behind the scenes that people don't know about.
It's too loud.
It's very, very loud, and it's why anytime there's a reporter that talks about something that people don't like, stop getting upset with the reporters, stop getting upset with the media. There is something going on in-house. Now, look, they have won. They've been successful. That's the craziest part of this all. As dramatic as this offseason has been, and I stand by it, one of the more dramatic offseasons that I can remember, I could still see them winning their division next year.
Absolutely.
And playing and hosting playoff games.
If they don't win, and I said it, and I told Connor 100%.
Yes, you did.
I gave no 99.9. If they do not win the division, advance further than last year. So they got to win. So you're talking about divisional playoff weekend. And I'm going to maybe even say win in divisional playoff weekend. If they have a home playoff game in divisional playoff weekend and they don't win, I'll even up that 100%. They play at home divisional playoff weekend. They don't win, Nick Sirianni's gone.
So you're saying
100%.
Short of an NFC championship game appearance, he's losing his job?
If they are at home in divisional playoff weekend, I'm adding that extra disclaimer.
At home.
At home. And they don't win that game, he's 100% gone. If they don't get a win in wild card weekend, he's absolutely gone. At 100%, no wiggle room. There's too much noise. And there are too many people who I trust that I'm speaking to that say, this is a mess. And no one wants to hear it. And the pom-pom shakers aren't going to want to hear it. This is an absolute circus.
Yeah.
And this is not what you want. There is a great book, and I got to go into my bookshelf to try to find and read it.
Cat in the Hat.
Again, no, it is. Those are very good. That about having in the corporate world, that you never want to have, if Kincade and Salciunas as a show, the Fanatic as a company, whatever it is, you do not want to have a loud organization.
Oh, business for dummies.
No, sort of. Yeah, that would be good for us. But it's the idea that you do not ever want to be the noisy entity.
Yeah.
You want to run the quietest organization that you can. So that way management The noisiest organization is where management puts their attention and says, man, they're the problem. Don't be the problem. Right now, Nick Sirianni, he every year they have to go and do things to spackle, to bring in contractors, to do things to help run his business. Do you have to do that with Andy Reid? Nah. Coaches like him? Nah, you don't.
And yet,
by the way,
people will point out that he wins because
Doug Peter, no, his teams win.
I know, I got you.
And I'm going to tell you that his great coordinators that coordinated things won. And I really tell you, the Vic Fangio, now when you hear this, do you say to yourself, you think Vic Fangio and sort of, he's not the same age group. He's a little older, but the contemporaries, the older school guys in the NFL are looking at things going, what are we doing here?
Good thing he's got his own office and maybe on the other end of the hall.
Exactly.
So that's Jeff Stoutland.
Wow.
And you can react to it, 610-632-0975. I was going to get to it later, but we'll ask the question now. How thin is the ice of Nick Sirianni? Because, again, this starts in this past season. This starts when Nick Sirianni, and he'll be the first to tell you, I make decisions because I do them based off of what I believe is best for the team.
His study, too, right?
His studies. Nick Sirianni made the decision. Don't let anybody fool you. Sirianni made the decision to strip Jeff Stoutland of his duties during the season because he wanted to try different things, and they did not work. And then, as the snowball starts to roll into the avalanche, now you're losing one of the more respected coaches in the NFL. I know it's just an O-line coach, but he is very respected in the NFL, and it started with a decision made by Nick Sirianni to once again back up Kevin Patullo.
Are you, but though, just personally, because this discussion is going to obviously get a lot deeper.
Sure.
Are you like, oh my gosh, the sky's falling because Stoutland's leaving? Because I'm not.
No, it just makes me worry about the drama.
No, I'm dialed up to a 10.
I don't think all of a sudden Saquon Barkley is going to average 1.5 yards per carry next year.
I'm dialed up to a 10 on the drama front. But as far as Jeff Stoutland leaving, look, the run game sucked last year.
Yeah.
But I also believe that you had a man in charge who couldn't design plays, who his play designs were rudimentary.
Kevin Patullo sucked.
I mean, Dan Orlovsky pointed it out over and over again. Other analysts pointed it out, saying the Eagles' pass trees they was rudimentary.
Yeah.
So to me, though, so I don't know how much of that Jeff Stoutland couldn't help him with either. So
look, all I know is Patullo got fired quickly.
He did.
He sucked.
And did anybody? Now Patullo's still here, and it was said to me yesterday.
He'll be your new offensive line coach.
What was said to me yesterday, an interesting thing, is did Patullo not being let go, because he, by the way, is under contract, did that play into if we throw him out to the Wolves and then he doesn't get an interview by anybody for an offensive?
Does that make us look even worse?
Correct. That was brought up to me yesterday, and I never thought of that.
I think Nick and Kevin they vacation together.
Well, it could be.
They go to Icona.
Could be.
The families get together.
Maybe, I don't know.
The Siriannis, the Patullos, and Colarulos. It makes for a great trip down the shore.
Hey guys, Andrew Sacliunas, host of Kincade and Salciunas. Just want to thank you for checking out all of our great videos that we have on our YouTube channel every single day. Make sure, if you can, please like and subscribe and check out all the videos that we have on our YouTube channel, whether it's for us, Kincade and Salciunas, of course, our midday show, as well as Unfiltered with Bill and Ricky.